I'm Morgan, the oldest sibling. To quote part of a letter from Nobel physicist Richard Feynman to a late wife, "You dead are so much better than anyone else alive." I know that opening a speech with a quote is a bit cliche, but I promise this opening is way better than my original plan of either making a prank call or pulling a joke on all of you. This quote, which I heard in a discussion on grief by Dr. Andrew Huberman, a professor at Stanford University, spoke to the very core of my being. My brother was such a special human who struggled to understand or believe just how special he was to the people around him. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Landon had a way of making even the most mundane moments so special. He would walk into a room just to hug us, make a silly face when we made eye contact, and would give his famous side eye and sly smile when he heard something he found funny or interesting. With Landon, I could enjoy things I normally wouldn't care about, like tractor pulls or car shows. We'd take turns messing with each other, and he'd talk about the things he liked with so much enthusiasm that I couldn't help but be mesmerized by his wide eyes and near breathless wonder. I have so many fond memories of time spent with my brother. We would have special sibling dates, like an impromptu McDonald's picnic or pulling him in a wagon with Nora and Coco to the ice cream shop. Mom and Dad didn't know. We pulled like change from the car to pay for the ice cream. Sorry, Mom. Or we would just goof off and watch movies at home together. I actually wanted Landon to be my prom date my senior year because he was a perfect gentleman and so incredibly fun to be around. Grandma's getting a call at Better Cars extended warranty. Okay, we're all good. I feel so blessed to have shared his last band camp with him as the brass instructor. Even in the hours spent in the parking lot under the almost unbearably hot sun were made so much better in his presence. He would pretend to push me and hit me, and then he'd make silly smiles. And then I would tease him mercilessly for saying his name so quietly that the drill instructor thought his name was Randy. That did not only last the camp, by the way. It is apparently still going. He never lived that one down. Oh, wow, there's like a little dip there. I remember sharing my home in Montreal with Landon, Karina, and my mom, and it turned the city into one of the most wonderful places on earth. He took beautiful pictures on Mount Royal, played Just Dance in my tiny living room, sorry downstairs neighbors, and wrote the most beautiful thank you note at the end of the trip. I had written a thank you postcard to him at the end of the visit. I found that postcard in his room, amongst other items he clearly treasured. Pictures of people he loved, mementos from trips, even a couple tickets to a musical I was in. I hadn't even realized, especially after a literal lifetime of being dragged along to his big sister's shows, that it had meant so much to him. I so dearly wish I could know what stories each of those treasures held. And that was the kind of love that Landon had. It was big and enveloped his whole self, but it manifested in gestures and moments and memories. It was woven into our lives with such subtlety that the true magnitude wasn't clear until we began to see memories and stories collected together like the treasures in his desk drawer. Everywhere Landon was, love and light followed. No wonder pretty much all of our family wanted to honor him with a speech. You can all be thankful that there weren't more of us kids, or you might be here all day. We just love him so much. And on the darkest day of my life, when I lost my baby brother for the first time, I didn't know what to do or expect. I thought I would implode and isolate myself from the world, but something else happened. And those painful 6 days we spent caring for and saying goodbye to Landon, my family bonded and banded together stronger than ever. We shared memories and pictures, we watched videos, and reflected on the impact he had on ourselves and others. And that's when we began to smile and laugh. Don't be fooled. We were and are in an unimaginable pain from this loss. But we also began to feel his presence in a very real and beautiful way, because what was Landon's life and legacy if not radiating love and bringing joy to the world in spite of all of the pain that you endure? And I'm beginning to see Landon around me in the moments of tenderness, the kind gestures, and the little flashes of joy that touched my heart when I didn't know I needed them. Losing my baby brother was a tragedy, but the even bigger tragedy would be to dishonor his memory by not carrying on his legacy of loving those around him in such a big and meaningful way. On Thursday, I got a tattoo. I'm not going to show it to you. It's really blurry because it's still healing. To commemorate the legacy left by my brother Bear. It says, "Love big like Landon." The idea of Landon's big love has been something we cling to as his most defining trait and the way to keep his memory alive. So I want us all to do something together. We all need to promise together to carry on the love he had for others on his behalf. He has passed on the torch to every single one of us who were blessed by his presence and influence on our lives. You may have noticed him giving a thumbs up in so many of his pictures. So let us all raise our own thumbs up in this promise. Landon, we couldn't have asked for a better you. We promise to carry on the legacy of your big love in our lives, not just in the big things, but in the everyday moments too. Your time on earth was short, but your memory will endure. We love you now and forever.